Hello, welcome to my channel. The Hokage's maid, Uzumaki Naruto, the 7th Hokage, was a happy man. He had finally achieved his lifelong dream, protected the world, and made a name for himself. Now, if only his wife would stop calling him Hokage-sama. Pairing Naruto's Grayfia, the Hokage's maid, Hokage-sama, a voice called out, stern but soft at the same time. ZZZZ, Hokage-sama, this is most improper. The voice called out again, and a woman stepped into the office. She looked to be in her early 20s, with waist-length silver hair in a ponytail. Her attire consisted of formal office wear, a white shirt, and a black pencil skirt. Her beauty had an otherworldly, ethereal quality to it, as if she was some form of divinity. This was Grayfia Uzumaki, formerly Lucifuge, the wife and personal secretary of Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage of Konohagakure. She wanted to become his maid instead, but had relented after a red-faced, sputtering refusal by her husband. Her husband, who was currently sleeping on the job. Soft silver eyes gazed lovingly at the sleeping man, taking in his appearance. A tall and well-built figure, with short blonde hair, and if he weren't sleeping, one could see the most beautiful azure eyes sparkling with amusement. At least to her, anyway. ZZZZ, her delicate silver eyebrows twitched in annoyance as Naruto refused to wake up. Deciding to try a different approach, she walked across the room to where he was sleeping. As she neared him, Grayfia could see the piles of paperwork on his desk. Even if Naruto had dozens of clones working on paperwork, the heap still miraculously replenished itself. Despite all her experience as a secretary, Grayfia was still at a loss regarding this problem. She reached Naruto, who showed no indication of being aware of her presence. Was this really the Hokage, the strongest shinobi in the world? Weren't shinobi supposed to be cognizant of their surroundings at all times? With how deeply her husband slept, he would be an easy target for any assassins foolish enough to challenge him. Arriving next to the sleeping blonde, Grayfia leaned down and whispered in his ear. Naruto-kun, don't you want the ramen I made? I made it just for you. She all but purred, hoping for a reaction. All right, I'm up. Where's the ramen? The result was instantaneous. Naruto instantly awoke and jumped upright, narrowly missing Grayfia in the process. He then looked around, aware of the environment for the first time after waking. His gaze landed on Grayfia, and he processed what had been said. Then, his eyes widened, and he let out a meek whimper. There's no ramen. No, Hokage-sama, I needed to wake you up somehow, Grayfia said, back in her stoic persona. However adorable he might look with that teary-eyed pout, she had to remain professional. How could you do this to me, Fia-chan? Naruto wailed pathetically, you know how much I love ramen, yet you still tricked me. Have you no shame? Tatatata. His rant was cut off in between when Grayfia harshly pinched his cheek. Please act like a man of your status should, Hokage-sama. She admonished him sternly. For once, I agree with your wife, Naruto. Kurama grumbled from within, your juvenile actions reflect poorly on me, as you are my host. Even if the fox was used to this daily stupidity, it didn't mean he had to like it. Ow. Okay, Fia-chan. Naruto extricated himself from his wife's hold, but then Mob glared at her. And how many times have I told you? Call me Naruto, I hate honorifics. You're my wife, Yano. Such crass language would be improper coming from one of my station, Hokage-sama. Naruto grumbled incoherently as he set about doing some paperwork. This was always a point of argument among them, one they could never agree upon. Naruto abhorred any titles given to him and thought that his wife, at least, should call him by his name. He preferred it that way, honestly. But Grayfia would spout some drivel about decorum and discipline that went way over his head. Naruto was stubborn, but Grayfia was even more so. But then Naruto got an idea. What? Grayfia gave an uncharacteristic squeak as she was picked up from her position and placed in her husband's lap. Before she could admonish him for his lack of discipline, Naruto placed his head in the crook of her neck and wrapped his arms around her waist from behind. He then proceeded to do his paperwork as if nothing was wrong. Hokage-sama, what is the meaning of this? Grayfia asked, blushing slightly. Naruto always managed to fluster her with his spontaneous displays of affection. Whatever do you mean? Naruto asked while signing some documents. You know what I mean, Hokage-sama. She narrowed her eyes at him. She was struggling to maintain her work persona, but her husband was so warm that it was proving to be difficult. She had already relaxed and was cuddling up to Naruto. Naruto looked down at his wife, who was glaring at him with her soft silver eyes. Over the years, Naruto had realized that Grayfia didn't like to make their relationship known in public. But that didn't mean Naruto couldn't show his wife some love, did it? I concentrate easily when you're cuddled up to me, Fia-chan. Naruto gave her a cheeky grin, look, I already signed 6 documents. He gestured excitedly at the papers. Hokage-sama, what if someone walks in? Grayfia reasoned, even your Anbu are watching. Such behavior is unbefitting of the Hokage. However, she made no effort to get out of his hold. Naruto wasn't buying it. There's some other reason, isn't there? He lightly pecked her cheek, you can tell me, dear. If it's really bothering you, I'll release you. His thoughtful reply made things even more complicated for the devil. On the one hand, she was the secretary of the Hokage. She was currently in office hours and had to maintain professionalism. On the other hand, Grayfia was, first and foremost, his wife. She was allowed to be affectionate to him, although the environment could be better. And it did not help in the slightest how cuddly her beloved was. Not that she'd ever tell him, she had an image to maintain. After about 2 minutes of not moving, Grayfia gently shook her head. It's embarrassing, and I have no desire to let the Anbu or any client intrude on a personal moment. Naruto just hugged his wife tighter, making her wiggle slightly. Ah, that's so cute. That's just Grayfia speak for, I'm shy. He rubbed his cheek against her, as for the Anbu, I don't care. They don't dictate how I show love to my wife. Naruto finished, grinning madly. He could practically feel an embarrassed Konohamaru steaming in the corner of the room. Deciding that he teased his wife enough, Naruto picked her up again and put her on her feet gently, making her glare at him slightly. She straightened her uniform and gave a small smile, which went unnoticed by him. Any, Fia-chan, let's go somewhere fun. Grayfia sighed in exasperation. Naruto really had the attention span of a sparrow, he was that hyperactive. Hokage-sama, stop procrastinating, and finish your paperwork. But it's so boring. Hokage-sama, do you want to eat boiled broccoli for dinner tonight? Kage Bunshin. Instantly, a dozen clones of Naruto appeared and set about doing paperwork at a frantic pace. Grayfia twitched again. This was what made him do his work. Not a sense of duty, not protocol, but broccoli. Naruto had an irrational hatred for vegetables, especially broccoli. Exactly how much did Naruto, a person almost incapable of hate broccoli? Enough to make his paperwork clones use senjutsu. Every one of them, including the original, was somehow wearing glasses. Naruto didn't even need glasses. They were warily glancing at Grayfia from time to time, hoping that she would rescind her threat. She would not. Hokage-sama, Naruto. Grayfia rolled her eyes at her husband. The most powerful shinobi in the world, respected by the entire realm, acted like such a child in her presence. She decided to try a new method, knowing that it would work. It was a cheat she used whenever she needed him to get to work. Dana-sama, ue. Naruto choked on his spit and looked at his wife, with a heavy blush on his cheeks. Even though he was the one who was teasing her, she still had one weapon. Whenever she called him things like, Dana-sama, or, beloved, he would get extremely flustered. Naruto didn't know why he had this weakness, but he did. Hey, whipped. Kurama jeered, disgraceful. Shut up, furball. We'll see what happens when you get married. What the? Naruto cut off Kurama as he tried to get his blush under control. Why yes, Fia-chan. He asked with a slight stutter. Damn that weakness for cute names. I have you now, Grayfia thought, smirking inwardly as she prepared her final weapon. One that would work without fail. She almost felt bad for using this tactic, but it was for Naruto's own good. Grayfia fluttered her eyelashes at Naruto, looking to the ground, and gaining a fake blush on her cheeks. For the finishing touches, she crossed her arms around her back and whispered in a timid voice. Whoa, won't you do the work, Dana-sama? She shyly said, for me. Alarm bells were ringing in Naruto's head by this point. What was this? His wife never acted like this. This shy and cutesy side was a complete contrast to the normal Grayfia. Aha, she was tricking him, the minx. She was trying to get him to do the blasted paperwork. He would not relent, he would stand firm. He would. Ah, too much mo. Critical hit. One look at his wife caused all his thoughts of rebellion to bleed out of him. There was no escape now. Naruto had been ensnared by the puppy dog eyes that his wife was looking at him with. You, Naruto muttered helplessly as he deflated, and set about doing his work. You can be really mean at times, Yano. Did you say something, beloved? Goru, nothing, Fia-chan. Naruto mumbled with red cheeks. She sure didn't hesitate to use her cuteness at every turn for someone who wanted their relationship to remain private. His heart couldn't take the strain, damn it. But he was still the luckiest man in the world to be married to her. Naruto zoned out instantly as he thought about how he met his wife. Not that he needed a reason to zone out. It was about 10 years ago when Kakashi-sensei was the Hokage. Naruto had been meditating in a clearing to practice his senjutsu. He had sensed a different type of energy signature appear in his senses and had gone to explore it. Flashback, 10 years ago Konoha. As he neared the site, Naruto began to see the signs of a massive explosion. Going on guard, he made his way to the epicenter of the crash. In a huge crater, there was the unconscious form of a woman, bleeding severely from various cuts and wounds. She looked like she had been through hell, a fact which Naruto didn't know was true. Naruto had always been an impulsive shinobi, but his experiences in the war had taught him a few tricks. He quickly activated his negative emotion sensing to look for a trap and found none. He went into his Bayou cloak and sped back to Konoha Hospital, where Sakura was. Since Tsunade had left on her journey, Sakura was the only medic he could trust. He carried the woman into Sakura's office, where she was thankfully alone. He didn't bother knocking, as he never had before. Sakura-chan, emergency, he said hurriedly, making her look at him. On seeing the situation, her eyes widened. Sakura knew Naruto, probably better than anyone, bar Sasuke. She knew that Naruto was a very kind and caring man, someone who would never hurt a woman anyone, really intentionally. So when Naruto showed up with a bleeding woman in his arms claiming an emergency, she immediately moved him to a room and checked up on the woman. Sakura most certainly did not hit Naruto over the head for supposedly being a pervert. Seriously, who would hit Naruto in such a delicate situation? She used to hit him when he was an idiot, back when she herself was far from a model kunoichi. Hitting him right now would be like criticizing him for helping a woman in need. She wasn't that shallow, damn it. She was a medic, it would mean breaking dozens of rules. Naruto, lay her down here. I'll check her over. Naruto did so and immediately started hounding Sakura for answers. What happened to her, Sakura-chan? Is she going to be okay? What can I do to help? What? Naruto. Sakura cut him off sternly. Stop talking and let me concentrate for a second. With Naruto silent, Sakura started her diagnostic check on the woman. Sakura had to admit, she was already very jealous of this mystery woman. This lady was several times more beautiful than she was, much to her ire. When Naruto had explained the situation, Sakura had started looking for blunt force trauma, cuts, and the like. Glowing green palms moved over the mysterious woman's body as Sakura got a read on her condition. There were no life-threatening injuries, just some fractures and cuts. She would live, but there was one glaring problem. This woman had no chakra. Not a drop, which puzzled the medic. Every living being had chakra, it was as necessary to them as blood. This woman was an anomaly, as she had another energy signature in her body. Naruto, go get the Hokage. He needs to see this. Wah, what happened, Sakura-chan? Is she going to be okay? Yes, Naruto, she's going to be just fine, she said, making Naruto cheer, but you need to get sensei, and I need to dress her wounds. Then Sakura gained a teasing glint to her eyes. Unless you want to watch me change her clothes. My, Naruto, how bold of you, she gasped. No thanks B. Naruto had already dashed out of the room with a red face. Sakura chuckled softly to herself, he really was like the younger brother she never had. About 10 minutes later, Naruto returned, dragging a disheveled Kakashi in tow. I'm telling you, sensei, this is important, believe it. Mama, Naruto, what's the rush? I was taking a nap. Look, Kakashi looked, and his expression changed in an instant. He scanned the room, and his eyes landed on the unconscious woman. He looked at Naruto, who was bouncing in anticipation, and Sakura was waiting for a reaction. Explain. After being informed of the problem by Sakura, Kakashi mulled over the information. He closed his eyes in thought as he processed the happenings. Then, he turned to Naruto. Good job, my cute student. Kakashi gave him a thumbs up, you've found yourself a real beauty here. Jiraiya-sama would be proud of you, he said, wiping a fake tear from his eye. I know I am. Sensei, be serious. Sakura snapped at him, what do we do about this woman? Well, ordinarily, the protocol would be to send her to the labs for testing, Kakashi interrupted Naruto's indignant shout with a look. But it looks like Naruto has gotten attached to the young woman. So we'll wait for her to wake up. Naruto's dense inquiries were ignored as they waited, talking about their lives, and catching up. They were all so busy that such moments of respite were rare. Team 7 intended to make full use of this opportunity. About 20 minutes later, the woman woke up with a gasp. Before any of the shinobi could address her, she frantically looked around and shouted, Euclid. Sakura went towards the woman, but the patient got into a combat stance after seeing the medic approach. Sakura raised her hands in a non-threatening gesture as she pointed to the bandages on the woman. The woman slightly let her guard down and verified that she had indeed been helped by these people. Where am I? You're in Konoha, in the land of fire. Kakashi said, what's your name, miss? The woman seemed to contemplate the question and eventually answered. Grayfia, Grayfia Lucifuge. That's a strange name. Where are you from? Sakura interrupted, and can you explain why you don't have chakra? Seeing the woman tense up again, Naruto decided it was time to step in. His teammate and sensei were interrogating her as if she were a prisoner, barraging her with questions immediately after awakening to catch her off guard, and that didn't sit right with him. Naruto released some of his warm, comfortable chakra, instantly cutting through the tense situation. Naruto stepped ahead of his comrades and sat next to Grayfia. Kakashi-sensei, let me speak to her. He gave them a pleading look. Hiya miss. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. How are ya? He grinned at her, hoping to loosen some of her cautiousness. He was never one for interrogation tactics and mind games. Naruto preferred to just talk and make friends with people. Naruto's approach seemed to have worked, as Grayfia scooted a bit closer to him. She usually would never commit such a foolish mistake, but Grayfia was out of her element here. She was fighting against the anti-Satan faction alongside her brother when a freak spell had knocked her out. She had then woken up in a strange land, where she could not sense a single devil. The people who helped her used chakra instead and were treating her as a prisoner. She was no stranger to such techniques, after all. She knew not their power, nor their abilities or numbers. She needed to play it safe. So when the blonde boy told the others to stop questioning her, she felt thankful to him. He had a certain presence about him, something that was making her trust him. He was just so, pure and bright, like the sun. In an unfamiliar realm with her magic reserves depleted, Grayfia latched onto the first person she thought she could trust. Grayfia hoped that he wouldn't betray her, as she would be helpless to stop him. She wished she could find a way home to her brother and her family. And from that day onwards, Grayfia would only talk to Naruto, no one else. They had gotten the full story from her, and Naruto had promised to try his best to help her. He had learned from previous experiences and promised things solely in his control, like trying his best. He would not let himself suffer such pain anymore. They had discovered, much to Grayfia's sadness, that returning home was impossible for her. The toads also corroborated this theory, making the woman almost lose hope. It was Naruto who convinced her that she could create new bonds here. That she could find new precious people in this world, and Naruto would help her. Since then, Grayfia had found that he was one of the few remaining members of the Uzumaki clan and the de facto heir. She felt as if she owed her life to Naruto and hence had pledged service to him. Naruto had firmly refused, stating that he did not want a servant of any kind. He just asked her to find her own path, nothing more. The next few years were the best years of Naruto's life, as he had found someone to spend the rest of his life with. Hokage-sama, Grayfia scolded, you zoned out again. Huh, what? Naruto said, snapping out of his thoughts. Sorry, I was just thinking about how we met, Yano. He gave a soft smile, and how lucky I was to have met you. Naruto looked at her lovingly. Stop trying to distract me, husband. Grayfia cursed herself for stuttering, but she could tell that Naruto was honest in his words. He always was, and that was what made her feel giddy. Yes, you called me husband. Naruto cheered, happy to get one over his wife. Hokage-sama, do you want to become an ice sculpture? Grayfia whispered, trying to quash her blush. She was getting impatient and was flaring her ice magic. The temperature of the room lowered slightly, making chills go up the ANBU's spines. Naruto paled at the thought and created more clones to divide the work. The rest of the hour went without incident, mostly because Naruto wanted to get out of the monotonous office. The second he finished signing his last document, he went to his wife. There, I'm done. Can we please go on a date now? He pleaded while giving Grayfia his version of the puppy dog eyes. Grayfia didn't even need to think about it. His work was over, the documents were signed, and their last date was over 2 days ago. Of course, dear, lead the way. She even gave him a small smile, now that she was off the clock. That was all the motivation he needed, as Naruto quickly embraced his wife and used Hiraishin to teleport home. The nightlife of Konoha had only improved in times of peace. The 7th reign marked a new age of the shinobi world, and most of the people were leading happy lives. It was in this setting that Naruto and Grayfia had set out on their date. Naruto was wearing a blood orange dress shirt and black jeans, whereas his wife had donned a white turtleneck and blue jeans. They looked exactly like the power couple they were. The two were currently on their way to Ichiraku Ramen. While it might not be a date-worthy location for the general public, the restaurant held a special meaning for the couple. It was dear to Naruto's heart, as well as the place where he had his first date with his wife. The fact that his wife loved their ramen only helped Naruto decide to propose to her faster. Thea-chan, have I told you that you look super pretty today? Yes, you did. This is the 3rd time, dear. She chuckled. Well, you're just so pretty that telling you once isn't enough, Yano. Naruto grinned. How original, husband, Grayfia said, rolling her eyes. Moo, I thought you liked it when I paid you compliments. Naruto muttered sadly, but if not, I'll stop. No, Grayfia instantly retorted but schooled her features. I mean, you shouldn't change your behavior on my account. She coughed and looked away, a mild blush on her pale cheeks. It's not like I mind it, she whispered. Contrary to popular belief, Grayfia loved it when Naruto complimented her, as his words were always sweet and honest. Her heart beat faster whenever he called her pretty and her stomach did a flip whenever he proclaimed his love for her. Which was several times per day, much to her delight. She'd never admit this in public, though. He pride as the Hokage's secretary was at stake. What would the management community think of her unprofessional attitude? The people of Konoha already thought her a cold and calculating woman, her reputation would be ruined. Also, only Naruto was allowed to say such sweet things to her without being turned into an icicle. That's so adorable. Naruto pulled his wife closer, an arm around her shoulder. I'll give you double praise from tomorrow, believe it. Grayfia's cheeks tinged red at Naruto's loud words. People across the street were staring at them, whispering and cheerfully waving at their Hokage and First Lady. She gave everyone a respectful nod while Naruto boisterously smiled and waved back at them. Now that he finally had the villagers' respect, he was basking in the limelight. It's Hokage-sama and Grayfia-sama. Are they on a date? How romantic. Why don't you look at me like he looks at his wife? A woman asked her husband, then slapped him on the back of his head for staring at Grayfia. He was not the only one. Grayfia was undoubtedly the most beautiful woman in Konoha, so she had many admirers. Too bad they would have to get through Naruto first, just like Naruto's fangirls were often scared away by his irate wife. There were some disadvantages of being Konoha's poster couple. Everyone's looking at my beautiful wife. Naruto shouted, conveniently ignoring his own fangirls. I'm gonna scare them away. You will do no such thing, Hokage-sama. Grayfia sternly admonished while dragging Naruto towards Ichiraku. The last thing they needed was a scene. Are we back to calling me, Hokage-sama, again? It is only appropriate in a public setting, Hokage-sama. Naruto sighed as he was led along by his wife. We're on a date, Grayfia. Please, call me by my name. It feels like there's a distance between us when you call me Hokage-sama, and I don't like it. He said seriously. He did not want to be addressed so formally on a date by his wife, it just felt weird. I'm surprised you could construct such a complicated sentence, Naruto-sama. Grayfia retorted calmly, a small smirk on her face. Naruto stared flatly at his wife, suppressing a smile. She referred to him by his name and insulted him in the same sentence. He loved her so much. She was so smart. Call me Naruto-kun and I'll take the insult. He cut in glibly. Grayfia tucked a strand of silver hair behind her ear and averted her eyes. Okay, Naruto-kun, she said, looking very shy. She wasn't used to such casual behavior in public, but it was exciting. Naruto's eyes widened and he bounced in place. Too cute, must not hug. He dramatically used his left hand to stop his right, which was moving to glomp Grayfia. That's it, I'm out. Don't wake me up unless someone attacks the village. Kurama grumbled before cutting their link. He knew Naruto well enough to escape the cuteness before it escalated. Grayfia easily dodged the hand and grabbed it. Let us away, husband. She sniffed and began leading him away. Ooh, what fancy language. HMPH. They arrived at Ichiraku Ramen, which had expanded to adapt to the new customers which Naruto's fame brought. Since he and his wife were regulars, they had a perpetual reservation in the restaurant. Welcome to Ichiraku Ramen, Hokage-sama. Ayami greeted brightly, smiling at the sight of Naruto. The blonde just whined. Nei-chan, it's bad enough with this one, but not you two. He pointed accusingly at his wife. Ayami giggled into her sleeve, giving the couple an amused glance. Naruto-kun, are you here for your date? Yeah, do you have a table for two, Ichiraku-san? Ayami chuckled at Grayfia's usual formality, long since used to it. Even though they had a standing reservation, she still confirmed every time. Yes, we do. Please follow me, she said and led them to their booth. Naruto rushed past Grayfia and gestured to her seat, bowing slightly. Milady, he looked very pleased with himself at his manners. Grayfia just deadpanned at him, standing in place. You're supposed to pull my chair for me, dear. Just saying, milady, serves no purpose. Naruto blinked. But, it's a booth, he said sheepishly. Then why even say it? I didn't think that far ahead, okay. He pouted. I wanted to act all gentlemanly, ya know. Grayfia smiled softly at this. Even after years of marriage, Naruto still tried so hard to make her feel special and keep the spark alive. He succeeded tremendously, of course. The little things he did, from pulling her chair to giving her random flowers, made her love him all the more. And now he was sulking, which made Grayfia frown. While she did love all his little gestures, she should be doing a better job of letting him know. She didn't want to appear ungrateful, which was far from the truth. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I'm flattered, she said happily, my husband is such a gentleman. Grayfia kissed him on the cheek and took her seat. She spotted the faint pink on his whiskered cheeks and smirked victoriously. She resolved to show him more affection from now on. Well, Naruto stuttered, let's eat, shall we? He said, hurriedly taking a seat and burying his face in the menu. What'll you have, Fia-chan? His voice was much lower than one would expect from him. They ordered their food, but Naruto still hadn't looked up from his menu. Cute. Grayfia decided to tease him a little. Ara, is my darling husband getting shy? Grayfia cooed, relishing in Naruto's embarrassment. How adorable. Naruto jumped a bit as he buried his red cheeks deeper into the menu. Where's this coming from, Grayfia? What was this? His wife never called him adorable in public, nor did she show much affection. He was used to her disposition by now, as she was a very professional and private person. But he didn't completely hate this side of her. You always say such thoughtful things to me, I just thought I'd return the favor. She then gained a sly smile. Don't you like it, beloved? Oh Kami my heart, you can't just spring this on me, ya know. Naruto lamented inwardly, as he was stabbed by a large pink arrow with, beloved, written on it. Naruto, even with all his might and fame, still got very bashful when someone actually praised him or paid him a genuine compliment. Words of love by his wife were very rare in public, so they were super effective. For all his attention-seeking in his childhood, Naruto's inability to accept praise was endearing to his wife. And just like that, Naruto's brain turned to mush and he rebooted. Death threats and curses of hatred were fine, but this was too sudden. Grayfia giggled at her slumped husband. If you can dish it, you have to be able to take it, dear. Naruto recovered and scratched his whisker marks. I'm sorry, I'm just not used to hearing such things from you, Yano. Grayfia looked sad at that, her self-consciousness resurfacing. I know I don't say such things a lot, it's difficult for me. She had been raised from birth to serve the Lucifer clan, like many of her family. She had no experience speaking so informally to anyone, especially her husband who was also her superior. In private, she opened up and could express herself properly, but it was difficult in public. I know, honey, and I love you exactly how you are. See, I want to be able to say such things in public to you, to tell you that I love you or compliment you effortlessly as you do to me. She mumbled timidly. But you say things like that all the time at home. Grayfia sighed in exasperation. Why did he have to be so understanding and selfless? That's at home, where it's just the two of us. She blushed slightly. I want to hug you in public, or shout out, that's my husband. Like you do. Naruto put down his menu as their food arrived. After they were alone again, he reached across the table and gently took a hold of Grayfia's hand. Fia-chan, listen to me. When she looked at him, he continued. It's who you are, and I don't want you to change just because I behave a certain way. You're so professional and strict, do you want me to become like you? I want you to take your work seriously, but not to change completely. She retorted. His exuberance was one of the things she loved, and it would be bad if he became cold and stoic like her. That's how I feel, and since you're not used to public affection, you give the cutest reactions, ya know. Naruto grinned and then gripped her hand tighter. Besides, I like being the only one to see that side of you, it makes me feel special. Grayfia's eyes widened as his words registered. It was another way to look at things. He felt special because only he could see her caring side. That was a big relief to her. She had nothing to worry about, her husband was amazing. He would never hold her personality against her, and it was one of the many things which made her love him. The thought warmed her heart and brought a happy smile to her face. I love you so much, Naruto-kun, Grayfia spoke softly, tucking her hair behind her ear. You're the best husband a woman could ask for. She smiled shyly, averting her eyes. It was a stark contrast to her office persona, which made it extremely cute. The Hokage's eyes widened as he heard her. This had to be the first time that Grayfia said those words in a public setting, albeit quietly. One look at his wife told him exactly how difficult it must have been for her to say it. She was looking from side to side, fiddling with her chopsticks and picking at her food. Seeing as she was very vulnerable, Naruto decided not to tease her and instead replied from the heart. Naruto kissed the back of the hand he was holding. I love you, Grayfia-chan, believe it. You're the best wife too, he said with a gentle smile, which made her blush even darker. It was getting really difficult not to tease her, but Naruto managed to resist. The rest of the date progressed marvelously, and the couple went home hand in hand, with their love reaching new heights. Flashback how they got together. Naruto, do you like anyone? When Sakura asked the question, everyone inside Ichiraku, along with everyone on the street outside, ground to a dead stop. It was the only question that mattered to many young girls nowadays. Whom did Naruto Uzumaki like? The hero of the shinobi world was the #1 eligible bachelor in the elemental nations, with many admirers vying for his affections. His horde of fangirls outnumbered all the great shinobi before him, Hashirama and Tobirama Senju, Hiruzen Sarutobi and even Minato Namikaze. Naruto was simply the most popular shinobi ever. So it was understandable that Sasuke, Sai, Tsuki, Ayami and pretty much the entire block came to a screeching halt to finally get the answer they were waiting for. Unbeknownst to them, a certain silver-haired devil was also nearby and had stopped to listen to Naruto's answer. Dozens of heads watched in anticipation as Naruto finished slurping up his ramen and looked to Sakura. Huh, what did you say, Sakura-chan? The medic simply repeated, used to his knuckle-headed behavior by now. I asked you if there is anyone you like. She knew that Naruto no longer had his crush on her as he had moved on before the war started. She was bored and just wanted something to gossip about with Ino. I like lots of people, Sakura-chan. Naruto grinned, completely missing the point. No, you idiot, I meant in a romantic sense. That gave Naruto pause, along with all the spectators. He had never thought about it in detail. When he was a child, a small part of him doubted if he would ever find anyone, whether anyone would even want him. Those were the worst times, feeling unwanted and undeserving of love. But then he found his bonds, his precious people. They filled the hole in his heart which a life of loneliness had created. For a while, it was enough. Gigi, Ba-chan, Ero-sennin, and his team were all family. He would cherish them forever. But at the same time, Naruto wanted a family of his own. He wanted children to spoil and love so that he could give them everything he hadn't received. He wanted someone to settle down with, a wife to spend the rest of his life with. He wanted all those things, but he hadn't the slightest idea of how to go about it. His fangirls listened in earnest, eager to find out who Naruto-sama liked. Oh, he said, looking contemplative, no, I don't like anyone right now, not romantically at least. All those shallow enough to not notice the somber tone in his voice left the scene, squealing and giggling happily. Only those close to him remained, and grew concerned. Sai, who was adept at reading emotional cues, figured out that Naruto was sad. He didn't know why, though. Tsuki and Ayami frowned slightly, as they knew exactly what Naruto was thinking. He had confided in the shop owners quite a bit during his childhood, after all. Sakura and Sasuke also caught onto this, but they had no idea what to do. Blaming herself for making Naruto sad, Sakura decided to just power through the situation. It was how Naruto worked best and she knew it. Well, alright then, I'll help you, she exclaimed, earning a quizzical look from Sasuke. Grayfia had sat down next to the group, seen by everyone except Naruto, who was back to devouring his ramen. How? Ino gave me this list of questions to ask for finding out who you like and stealing their heart. Sasuke gave a derisive scoff. Useless. If you want to get a man, stop being so violent. He was promptly bopped on the head by an irate Sakura. It's not useless. Then she blushed in embarrassment. And I'm not violent. Please continue, ugly, Sai spoke, and just looked at the oncoming fist blankly as he too was punched. Point proven. Sakura restrained herself and spoke. Naruto, clear your mind completely and answer the questions. You have to answer instantly, okay? She said, getting a nod from Naruto. What hair color do you like? Naruto was in thought, and a mop of beautiful silver hair flashed through his head. Silver. Grayfia perked up in the background, looking almost hopeful. She had made it no secret that she was in love with her savior, but the boy was dense as a brick. The devil had been in love with Naruto for years, ever since he helped rehabilitate her. She had tried everything short of telling him outright, but her conditioning and ethics would never permit such a thing. Sigh, of course, missed the point completely. I knew it, you are attracted to the Hokage. As your teammate, I support you on this journey. He gave a supportive thumbs up but was ignored by everyone. Sai noted it down under the, maybe, section of things to say in public. Sakura pressed on, and do you like girls with long hair? Yes, Naruto replied instantly. He always had. Grayfia ran a finger through her long silver locks, still unnoticed by Naruto for some reason. And your favorite eye color? Silver. Sasuke visibly sighed in relief, along with the rest of the audience. Kakashi's eyes were black. Now, shortlisting. Is there any girl with these criteria in your circle? Sakura grinned. Come to think of it, Grayfia-chan has all those things. Naruto exclaimed. So I like Grayfia-chan. He tilted his head in confusion. Grayfia palmed her face in agitation, still unseen by Naruto. How he became the most powerful shinobi in the nations, she'd never know. You can't ask us that, idiot. Sakura snapped, then realized that she was talking to Naruto. He needed to be guided through this, or he'd never understand. Do you think she's beautiful? Yeah, totally. Grayfia looked away, lest they see her blush. She knew Naruto was tactless, but wasn't this a bit too brazen? Was this how courting progressed? Sasuke saw her plight and smirked. He knew that Grayfia was smitten with the loser, and it appeared to be mutual. There was plenty of taunt material to be found here. So, would you date her? Naruto paused. Would he date her? She was extremely beautiful, so he guessed he was attracted to her. She was also kind, nice, caring and strong. There wasn't really anything he didn't like about her. But did she even like him in the first place? If not, this discussion was moot. He thought about it for a few minutes and then spoke. I mean, I would like to, but why would she date me? He spoke confusedly and a touch sadly. There are plenty of better guys out there, Yano. What an idiot. Kurama too was getting fed up. Grayfia, who was on cloud 9 after hearing the first part, was now close to wringing his neck from behind. This denseness was too much. She wanted to freeze Naruto so badly for being an idiot, right before hugging him for liking her back. Sakura knew that she was almost there. So if she wanted to date you, you would go on a date with her. She prodded. Naruto scratched his cheek and replied, I guess. If she wanted to, I would gladly agree. But I don't see that happening. So, you'd need a signal. Sakura asked, looking at Grayfia suggestively, an indisputable signal that she likes you. Aha, Sakura had the most menacing grin ever on her face. Look behind you. Naruto felt a trepidation bubbling in his chest, and he slowly turned around. Gee, Grayfia-chan. Greetings, Naruto-sama. Naruto laughed nervously. So you heard all that, huh? He said with a mild blush. I did, and I'm giving you a signal, she said bluntly, then pulled him into a tender embrace, making him squeak. She laid her head against the crook of his neck, shuffling in nervousness. Much to her delight, his arms shortly wrapped themselves around her, holding her gently. Grayfia snuggled into him further, forgetting their audience, delighted after he did the same. They were lost in the moment, content in each other's arms. She was brought out of her trance when Sakura cleared her throat. After she released him with a red face, an equally red-faced Naruto squirmed nervously and asked her, Sir, will Yuji go out with me? He looked away, fidgeting slightly. He was uncharacteristically shy, which conveyed exactly how vulnerable he was. For Naruto Uzumaki to stutter, the situation was serious. I thought you'd never ask. She smiled, and they started planning for their date. It's so late. When will she be home? Naruto wondered while looking pensively out of the window. Grayfia had gone out drinking with the other girls for a girls' night. While Naruto always wanted his wife to spend time with her friends, it didn't change the fact that he already missed her a lot. It was also getting pretty late in the night and he was growing concerned. Even though Grayfia was the strongest person in Konoha after himself and Sasuke, a husband's worries seldom seek logic. Should I go and pick her up? Naruto got up to get dressed, but stopped when an overwhelming sense of dread overcame him. Naruto, give the Mednin program more funds, damn it. Hick intelligence also NE needs funds Naruto. On second thought, I don't want to deal with a drunk Sakura and Ino pestering me for more funds to their departments. Naruto shuddered at the thought. Those two women were violent enough sober, best to not be seen by them. Naruto bounced uneasily on his feet. Still, it's almost midnight. Is she doing all right? But how can I check without running into those damn debt collectors? What are you? Kurama's sudden question stumped him. What do you mean by that? I'm Naruto. A faint sound of Kurama slamming his head into some metal bars rung through Naruto's brain. Idiot, what is your job? I'm the best Hokage ever, believe it. Naruto gave his signature pose, complete with a wide grin. What is the Hokage? Kurama was fast losing patience. He was looking like a salaryman who had been forced to do a few days of non-stop work without overtime. Kurama didn't know where these words entered into his vocabulary from, but he understood the feeling very well. Naruto palmed his chin with his hand. The Hokage is the strongest shinobi, chosen by the village. Konoha is my family, will of fire, king chess piece, bonds, friendship, ending the cycle of hatred, understanding among the people. He trailed off, unable to think of more examples. Aside from summarizing the past 1,000 years in one sentence, what was the first thing you said? The strongest shinobi, Naruto declared triumphantly, only for his eyes to widen. Oh, I am a shinobi, ya no. I could just check on fear from afar, he cheered, amazed at his own discovery. Eyes deader than the abyss of chaos, Kurama could merely give a few defeated chuckles at the absolutely monumental incarnation of stupidity that was Naruto. I don't know what a bonus is, but I need one. Just as Naruto was prepared to head off to check on Grayfia, the doorbell rang. Eyes lighting up in glee, he ran to the door, excited to greet his wife. Naruto opened the door with full force, as he had already sensed his wife outside. Welcome home, Fia. What is this adorable sight? His eyes shot wide open as he trailed off, speechless at what he saw. His beautiful wife, Grayfia, was indeed at the door, and she was just fine. But that was not the focus here. Grayfia was wearing a fluffy orange muffler around her neck, which came up to her nose and made her look impossibly cuddly. Her cheeks were dusted dark red, from a mix of cold and wine. She was clearly tipsy and wobbling slightly. Her clothes were relatively simple blue jeans and a black cardigan, which made her look even cuter with her muffler and blush. To complete the cuteness, she was carrying a bottle of wine, clutching it tightly to herself. Grayfia was giving small hiccups from time to time, since Naruto was too dumbfounded to move. Yo, Naruto, dropping off your wife, Sakura explained from beside Grayfia, looking soberer herself. Her medical jutsus were good at that. See you Tomoe, who am I kidding, he isn't even looking at my direction. Sakura muttered, seeing as Naruto hadn't even acknowledged her presence. The Hokage was too mesmerized by the first lady to care about anything else. With another goodbye, Sakura left for her own house. Back with the couple, Naruto had managed to snap out of his cuteness-induced daze. He immediately wrapped his arms around his wife's shoulder, supporting her as she walked in. Let's get you inside, okay? It's cold outside. Grayfia mumbled and nodded slightly, snuggling into his side looking for warmth. Haiku, she hiccuped and immediately covered her mouth, but the damage was done. Cute. Once they were inside the living room, Naruto gently seated Grayfia on the couch. As he moved to sit on another sofa, he felt his wife holding onto his sleeve. Fia-chan. Grayfia looked at him, her silver eyes gleaming with so much love and adoration. Sit with me. She gave him no room to argue, and pulled him down on her couch. She then proceeded to climb over Naruto like a kitten. Grayfia snuggled into Naruto's bigger frame, almost as if she was burrowing into it. Mine. Hui. Naruto's jaw dropped in shock. His wife was acting so clingy and assertive. He loved it. Naruto didn't know what was happening, but far be it from him to complain. So, the Hokage settled for simply wrapping his beloved wife in a tender embrace, glad to be enjoying this time with her. Hic Naruto Shama, Grayfia raised her head, which brought her face to face with Naruto. Since she was much shorter than Naruto and laying on top of him, she was comfortable. Hic, can I say so something? She managed to warble out the words, which made her nose twitch cutely at the effort. Yes dear, Naruto stroked the top of her head lovingly, making her let out small giggles. It was too adorable a sight. I love you. Naruto's eyes widened some more. What a simple sentence, but it still managed to leave him speechless. How amazing was this woman in love with him? She was looking at him with such immense adoration and affection, that Naruto found himself falling head over heels for her again, for the millionth time. I love you too, dear. Forever. They laid there in companionable silence. His duties as Hokage, her devil heritage, or anything else mattered not at this moment. They were lost in each other's eyes, just as their hearts were lost in each other's. No words were needed to convey the love between them, so now words were said. Fia-chan, you are super adorable right now, ya know. Grayfia gave another drunk giggle. Hee, thank you, sweetie. Naruto tightened his hold on her. Man, bubbly Grayfia is too lethal for my heart. Why don't you get drunk more often, dear? He immediately realized what he'd said, but it was too late. After hearing his words, Grayfia went strangely quiet in his arms. When she looked up, her eyes were moist, glistening with unshed tears. Beloved, am I too stern when sober? She sniffled slightly, gently laying her head on his chest. Am I a bad wife? Her soulful silver eyes, which usually conveyed her love and happiness, were quivering in sadness as she awaited his response. She clutched at his shirt in nervousness. Do you prefer me to be more cheerful? Naruto turned into stone and practically shattered right there. His very meaning for existence had gone down the drain. Grayfia was already drunk and impressionable, and his tactless words had made her get the most heartbroken look he had ever seen. It broke Naruto's own heart to even see tears on his wife's face. If he didn't run damage control right at this moment, his mother was going to beat the ever-loving crap out of him when he died. Never, Naruto yelled, making his wife squeak in surprise. Naruto got up, and held Grayfia tightly by the shoulders. I love you just the way you are. Cheerful, stern, whatever it is. As long as it's you, I love you. Whatever personality you have doesn't matter at all, Yano. Grayfia buried her head into the crook of his neck, closing her eyes tightly. Truly, she was very vulnerable at that moment, which made Naruto feel even worse. Naruto rubbed her back soothingly, gradually calming his wife down. Of course, even if your words are stern, I see your love for me in your eyes, honey. So even if you yell at me or pinch my ear, I know that you love me, and I make you happy. That's all we need, isn't it? I guess you're right, Grayfia mumbled, but didn't loosen her hold in the slightest. You really have a way with words, my love. Naruto grinned sheepishly, a slight blush on his cheeks. He was still weak to nicknames like, my love. These words are only for you, Fia-chan, since you're the most precious person to me. Grayfia sighed longingly, her heart fluttering like a young maiden. The alcohol had already amplified her emotions, but here Naruto was, wooing her with words like knights did in her world. Even after years of marriage, he still spent just as much time and effort courting her and making her feel cherished. And she loved him for it. My love, carry me to bed. I'm sleepy. Grayfia was back to hiccuping again. Naruto gently kissed her on the forehead and picked her up in a bridal carry, missing the soft smile and gentle blush on her face. As you wish, my queen. While queen was a term from Grayfia's world, Naruto felt it fit rather well for her. He preferred it over my daimyo, for sure. That wasn't romantic at all. If he were being honest, Naruto was expecting a snarky comment from Kurama. The fox always hated lovey-dovey moments and never hesitated to make it known. However, Kurama was strangely silent. In the mindscape, Kurama was nowhere to be found. There was simply a wooden desk in the cage, which was a bit worn out. On the desk were some photos, a lamp, a stapler and a letter. To whomsoever it may concern, with a heavy heart, I am tendering my resignation. The corporate greed is too much for me to bear, and I feel I am just not cut out for this rat race. My family has a farm in the village, where I will spend the rest of my days cultivating potatoes. I will marry and settle down, having led a peaceful life. I hear springtime is nice in my village. I wonder whether the crops will grow well. I would like to thank all my seniors and colleagues for their invaluable guidance and advice, they will forever be in my memories. I pray that my friends find the wisdom to escape this black company as well. Oh so very tired, Kurama. Grayfia walked into the Hokage's office with an unnoticeable smile on her face. Ever since she'd returned home drunk, she hadn't lost that smile in the slightest. Initially, she had feared that her husband wouldn't care for her unsightly appearance and scold her. After years together with him, she should have known that Naruto loved her far too much to ever scold her like that. Dear husband looks rather dashing today. I wonder what's different. She looked at Naruto with a slight dusting of pink in her cheeks. Naruto was just rumbling while signing some papers, but to his wife, he looked more handsome than usual. She noted that she was finding him more handsome recently. Since that night when Naruto had said those sweet and kind words to her, Grayfia had also fallen even deeper in love with him, which she thought impossible. But now, whenever she looked at Naruto, it appeared as if he was glowing with a radiant light, surrounded by roses and other pretty flowers. Now that she thought about it, this was the reason why her husband would always stare dumbly at her whenever she walked into a room. You look like you're surrounded by snowflakes, Fia-chan. I can't keep my eyes off you. Grayfia resisted the urge to burst into a full giddy grin, seeing as she was in the office. Her blush did indeed darken a little, but she'd allow it just this once. You look like you're surrounded by snowflakes, Fia-chan. I can't keep my eyes off you. Whwa. Grayfia jerked in shock, having heard exactly what she was thinking. She was so surprised that she dropped the papers she was carrying, which was an insult to her abilities as a secretary. Hee, what a nice reaction. Naruto snickered from his desk. He had just witnessed the stuff of legends. It wasn't every day that the Ice Queen of Konoha squeaked in surprise and looked around for papers with a huge blush on her face. Ahem. Grayfia composed herself perfectly, the papers neatly stacked in her hand. How did you know what I was thinking, Hokage-sama? Naruto whined. Man, this again. Call me Naruto and I'll tell you. His eyes gained a mysterious glint. Or better yet, call me darling. Grayfia's brow twitched, which looked dangerous even with her flustered face from the request. She raised a hand menacingly, making pinching motions with the thumb and index finger. The message was loud and clear, and Naruto's face paled when she started walking closer. Wait. No need to be hasty, Yano. Naruto tried to placate her, sweating nervously. I'll tell ya, anything to avoid the cheek pinch of doom. That thing hurt more than a chidori. HMPH. Grayfia huffed. Go on. Naruto looked away in embarrassment, which dealt critical damage to his wife. Hey, I know you so well, so it just came from the heart. Bar dump. Grayfia's eyes widened at the response, her mouth slightly ajar in shock. How very sweet. She coughed again into a fist to try and calm her furiously beating heart. She couldn't look him in the eyes without losing composure, so she too looked away, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear. Ho, Naruto's grin turned snarky, seeing as his wife was failing to maintain her work mode. Is the Hokage's secretary blushing and smiling on the job? He gasped, how unprofessional. I am not. Grayfia snapped reflexively, but then reined in her irritation. It wouldn't do to partake in this foolish prank of her husband. It was merely a momentary lapse of concentration. It shall not happen again, she sniffed, raising her nose haughtily in the air. Is that so? Naruto challenged. Of course. Hook, line and sinker. Grayfia felt that she had just started something she couldn't see through. How right she was. You, Grayfia muttered as she walked beside Naruto, you're entirely too much. She yelled at him, her entire face having gone a deep red. Steam was coming out of the top of her head, because her brain had simply overloaded on embarrassment. When Naruto had challenged her to not blush, she had accepted it as one of his foolish games. How she wished she hadn't. From singing about his love for her in the main square, to hiding her chair so she had no choice but to sit on his lap, Naruto had done everything to embarrass her. Well, she could have just gotten another chair, but she wouldn't deny that the arrangement was comfortable. She would never admit it though, absolutely not. 10 years with Naruto had turned her from a cold-blooded soldier into an easily flustered woman who just liked to act cold. And it was the best thing that had happened to her. Today was the most fun I've had in a while. Naruto guffawed as he walked, hands behind his head. You're just too easy to tease, Fia-chan. It's because you never cease to embarrass me so. Grayfia swatted his arm, in a childish attempt to get back at him somehow. But after a couple of swats, she instead grabbed his arm and hugged it tightly. There was no one else in the vicinity, which was the only reason she was being so bold. But, I do not, per se, have any misgivings about it or such. You're a bigger sundeer than Kurama, aren't you, sweetie? Cease your teasing at once. Hee, never change, Fia-chan. Never change. OMAKE Kurama looked up from the freshly tilled soil, the autumn wind feeling fresh on his fur. He smiled at the setting sun, wiping a bead of sweat off his brow. Even though he was a being made of chakra, he was still somehow capable of sweating, just like he was somehow capable of cultivating potatoes. The soil has been kind to my harvest this fall. The setting sun reminded Kurama of the good old days. The days when he was a giant fox, sealed inside his partner. He was still a giant fox and still sealed inside his partner, but that wasn't how stress-induced hyperventilations worked, did they? I wonder how young Naruto is faring. Kurama looked sagely at the potato in his hand. I will boil this one for lunch today. I thank you for your nourishment, potato. Kurama had achieved a new level of enlightenment, enabling him to let go of all material pursuits of the world. It was a simple life, Kurama mused. Wake up, have breakfast, till the fields, come home and sleep. Free from the worries of the ninja world, and most importantly, free from the nauseating sweetness that was Naruto's married life. He was content here, happy. He wished not to go back. In Naruto's mindscape, Kurama was out cold on the ground, snoring away softly. When Naruto appeared to check on his silent partner, he was confused about just one thing: why is this furball murmuring about potatoes?